So I also just want to say thanks for coming, and huge thanks to Paula and Malvern Books for asking me to be here and having me. And also, if we can, just for a second, this is a little corny, but can we give a round of applause to Katy and Joaquin for that whole thing with like having Ruben here and Katy's still reading and Joaquin missed the reading to take care of Ruben. Can we just give them a round of applause? All right, so I've been obsessed in terms of my writing with the internet for I don't know, a couple years now. It coincided with a devastating end of a relationship and also like living by myself in a new town. And so my poems for the last couple of years have just been revolving around the internet and loneliness. And they go quite well together. And so there's two series that I've been working on primarily. One is a series of self-portraits that is called, like the series is called Who Took This Selfie? And then the other is a series of poems that are based on Craigslist misconnections posts. So I'm going to read one of the selfie poems and then a whole bunch of the misconnections poems. Don't be scared, they're very, very short. But the setup for the misconnections post is just, okay, so I'm devastated after the end of this relationship, and I'm on the internet and I'm like, oh, you know, a lot of people I know laugh at these misconnections posts. I've never really read them. I have nothing else to do and I hate myself, so I'll go on these posts. And so I started reading them and I realized they pretty much sound the same. They break down into different categories of like, hey girl, I saw you in Walmart, let's have sex. And then there's another category of, I'm posting to someone who I had a relationship with and I'm desperately in love with still, and I know she's never going to see this or he's never going to see this, but I need to pour my heart out and have, you know, strangers read it and I will feel better because of that. And then there's just weird shit. So what I've done with the misconnections poems, sorry I normally don't do this much setup, but it's important for this. What I've done with the misconnections poems is I'm doing one for every state in the United States, and I read through hundreds of misconnections posts for the given state that I'm working on. And then when I find one that has language that I feel like I can work with, I write a poem using the misconnections post essentially as like a word bank. So any word that appears in the poem has to have come from that post. I don't change the tense or any of that kind of stuff. Okay, so the first one, after all that, the first one's not from that series, but the rest of them will be. So the first one's from the selfie series. It's called Self-Portrait with Live Chat Sex Ad. I just want to watch the internet with its singing people singing their stranger hearts out on loop, because, you know, sometimes you see a bird that can fly, but instead it walks away from you. And WTF is that, guys, when there's all this song screaming through my headphones, which I could share with you. I mean, I give you one earbud and I keep the other, and we'd be so close to each other, like how the web is worldwide or whatever, like birds. Or, you know, you could also just listen to your own internet, because that's a thing for you too. We all have one and it's everywhere. It's where I bought this baby rhino made of yarn so I can mail it to a friend to say, I'm sorry, it's not a person hugging you. But sometimes that's okay, right? Because hugging can be really tough and sad, like a holiday or any day after the sun goes down. But I still think a crocheted thing that could maybe be a hug is what I'd want in my corner. Though I guess the problem is that I don't want a corner, or that there are corners everywhere. And no one can mail me a crocheted internet I can squeeze in the dark when my heart is a bird walking away from me. So the rest of the poems I'll read will be the ones that had that long intro, the misconnections poems. Some of them are incredibly short, like 10 words. Oh, and I should say the title of each poem is the title of the misconnections post that the language comes from. So this first one's called Chick-fil-A. If you know who you are, please let me know. I won't tell anyone. This one's called, You'll Never See This, My Redneck Love, But I Miss You. We feel in love and we was two different people. I took your boots off sometimes. You never respected that I want nothing, but I'll admit it, I'm dread so bad I could clone you. This one's called Yellow Thong. I am your perfect ass. I want to taste your yellow thong. This one's called The Phone Conversation. Don't be stupid. My heart is creeped out by me too. I drug it, something disgusted, like a sex thing, like it was never dead, just so I can ask you a question about how come a huge ass is finally a good thing? So what you think happens when I want something of it? It's embarrassing how much deeper this thing can get. You want to guess? So close, no matter how far. Looking up into the stars, I see death. Everyone in my life doing the sign language thing for I love you. Forgive me. I am so scared of the flowers on the moon that I made a promise to God that I will never love you back. This one's called, Is It You? Do You Remember Me? Oh, and I should say, this wasn't on purpose, but this actually was the poem that came from the state where said breakup occurred. So, is it you? Do you remember me? While my life ends, I hope I hear voicemails from you. This one's called I Think About You Always. A beautiful sunrise fell out of my heart, but the radio don't work in me. Little song, I feel the same. This one's called Dominate Me. Dominate me. I want, I believe, I am, I need, I want, I am, I want, I am, I want, I am, I feel, I want, I want. Give it to me, baby. Sometimes when I want you, I wear panties, like I can prove it. This one's called Fucking Waste of Time. Bitch, the present is a fuck buddy that feel we look something special. The past can point the finger, that fucking waste of time. The future is someone we laid side beside and just remember as we get fucked up all miserable before he draws his line. There's no doubt in my mind the good guys planned on staying, but the truth is, no good guy. Pink dress walking down North Line. I was a pink dress, walking down the other side. This one's called Looking for Tracy. You are in my shed. Also, just since he cracked up at that one, what up to Tony, a fellow Iowa kid. Good to see you, man. This one's called Don't Let Her Go. The little bunny carries the head to your window. Like a bell sounds, it's too late. It gets worse. It goes away. And the title of this one is longer than the poem. So you want it to be understood, / here it is. Life is not intentional. LOL. This one's called What If You Only Had a Clue? Look, dead people poop shit like we do. A dog could make grandma's hard. Eve picked a fight with the concept of pain. You and I are the last straw. You know who you are. You cannot question your blood on heroin, but your wife can. Marry a snowball's chance in killing a man and make 3 beautiful kids, worth living in the time it mistakes you. In Kansas, in women, in Oklahoma, a problem. Look you in the lungs just to tell your breath to give out a second and so mean it. Any hell was a dream, didn't mean a thing to me. But black earth wash over darkest grace, I heart beat in my chest, and I will kill anyone in the future who sounds like my daughter, my boy 17 years ago. 2 more. This is actually the newest one of them. And I don't usually like to say what states they were, but this one was New Jersey. It's called To the Love of My Life. You, because my speechless cheekbones. You, unknown sea of seas. You, million stories like a thief October spooning bodies. It took me planets with our palms to find how long the stars. Brightest bubble cast nowhere, the sun must settle for the world. You day, one day, until you die, until your rib turns yet weapons. A promise as skin, you unison me anymore from beginning. And this is the last one I'll read, and it's called Hope. Hope is a woman who loved you. Forget her. I love you. Thank you.